it's your girl, Miss Diva Trucker. We are here again for another video. Tonight, I have a very special guest that I wanted to bring on with me because it's a very important topic that we need to talk about. And we're going to talk about tonight, we're going to talk about insurance, okay? We're going to talk about health insurance, dental insurance, vision insurance, also life insurance. Everything with the COVID is going on right now. So it's very important to make sure that you are covered in all these areas. So I didn't know a better person to bring in front of you than Mr. Larry Blackmon. He is an insurance agent, and he also specializes in helping truck drivers with getting your health and dental and things like that. He focuses on independent owner operators, people that's on a 1099. If you're a fleet owner, if you want to help get insurance for your fleet, or if you're just a one truck, two truck type of operation and you really need to find some reasonable insurance. And guys, let me tell you something. He's getting ready to tell y'all some things that may blow you all away as far as the cost and everything that it takes to be involved. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce you to my special guest, Mr. Blackmon. Go ahead and tell him about yourself.
Well, first of all, thank you for this opportunity, and it's an honor. But we had met once before prior at the Dallas show, and we communicated. But it was just a passing, so to speak. But
Right.
A little bit about myself. I have been in the industry, the health insurance industry, for the last 7 years and 8 months, and it's one of those things now I wish I look back on I got into a long time ago, because of the fact that it's very rewarding. It's all about helping people to put them in a better position what they're in right now. At least that's how I feel. It's never about the finance side. It's all about that opportunity of helping people. A little bit about me. My background was mainly in advertising and marketing. When the great 2008 hit, I had to make a change. I took what I can, as my grandfather used to say, sometimes you have to put your pride in your pocket and take what's coming to you. So I did, and I worked I was assistant manager in a grocery store, and I worked part-time at UPS, which later I became a part-time driver, and as well as work on the loading. From there, this opportunity arose, and from that, I never looked back. I had a business prior to this. I used to design children's room. It wasn't work. It was more play. I used to tease my mom. I used to tell her, I said, look, you used to spank me. Let's call it what it is. You used to whoop me for drawing on the walls. Now people pay me to do that. But her response was, I just made you better. That's all. That's what we're trying to do, improve your artwork. But like I said, I've been in this industry for 7 years and 8 months, and it's just been rewarding. I mainly, like we were talking earlier, I mainly got in this industry because of my nephew. He's a driver, and he didn't know that. He's like most drivers, they look at one source and not assuming that there's multiple choices you could choose from. And so once I was able to help him, it just opened the door. Opportunities arose, and I'm just trying to help as many people I can.
Well, one of the biggest worries or concerns is, when we come from being a company driver, the company covers us to have the insurance and things like that. And they may pay some of the benefits or whatever the case may be, or match some things. But a lot of times we do want to grow. We want to become our own boss. We want to have our own truck, our own fleet, and things like that. So one of the highest concerns is that owner operators face or independent contractors face is that insurance and taxes. Okay.
Pretty much,
After,
yes.
yeah, when you come out and you're on your own, you're not under the umbrella of a company anymore. You become the company.
Yes.
So we have in the industry where a lot of people do not have insurance as being independent, or
Mhm.
they have a fear of getting the insurance because they've been told, or they think it's going to be a high rate, and then they have a family to cover and things like that. So that's been one of the greatest fears about becoming an owner operator and running your own fleet is what happens to me if I get sick, or what if I live in Mississippi and I get sick in California? Is the insurance going to cover that? Things like that. So what are some of the options? Because we was talking the other day about a lot of us like to go to Obamacare, and
Hmm.
things like that.
Yep.
So tell me some of the options and maybe give a generalization of what people are looking at as far as what you offer and what
Mhm.
Obamacare is.
Well, first of all, the marketplace, or some people call it Obamacare, it was set up for two things. First of all, it was set up for the people who have major pre-existing conditions, ones who are cancer survivors under 10 years, or those ones who have Crohn's disease, or whatever. That's what it's mainly set up for. The first one, and then the second one was set up. Second time it was set up for the ones who's poor. They can't afford health coverage, but it does its job for those two areas. Um, if you fall under that demographic, if it worked great. However, if you don't, I mean, if you're healthy or moderately healthy, it doesn't fit you. It doesn't fit you, because now you're paying for, not just for your coverage, but it's you putting your money in a big old pot, and you're paying for other people as well. What separates me from everyone else is I'm not part of that. I'm pretty much the solution. And like I said before, there's nothing wrong with the marketplace. It have its place, but what I have to offer, it's it's unique because a lot of people, like you were saying earlier, they come from a group plan, a company plan, which is a PPO, and I can offer them that. Um, it's a nationwide PPO health coverage plan, but how you qualify is based upon the most important thing: your age, your height. As they would say, your health is your wealth. So it's age, height, weight, medication, um, pre-existing condition. And so if everything check off good, then there's no problem. But a lot of times, I I have to refer people to the marketplace because um, they don't meet those qualifications. And I work with two other people that offer those marketplace, and I tell them, hey, this is what they're looking for. But more importantly, they travel beyond their home state. So if you have something that would travel with them, that will be beneficial. Um, and I do offer, for those people who don't qualify, like a supplemental plan that, if they go, outside their home state, they can have something instead of nothing. So,
And we do have a lot of young people coming in the industry as
mhm,
well, right? So when
right,
you consider somebody 21 years old, doesn't have any
right,
health issues, they looking at being a lease driver, or they're
mhm,
looking at maybe owning their own truck, and they don't have benefits. They may not even have a family yet or got started
right.
in the family. Could you give me, like, as far as a normal 21-year-old coming in the industry, doesn't have any existing conditions,
Mhm.
but they need a coverage plan for them. What was something like that off run them?
Yeah, every state vary because every state have their own rates. But normally, I tell everyone this: just take your age and add a zero to it. That gives you some type of indication what you'd be looking at. Um, I mean, there's certain states um, like Nevada, for instance, Utah, even your states, Mississippi. Um, that I could think of top of my head, you know, they're Maryland, or least expensive. But every state is regulated differently. Every price is going to be different based upon the state they reside in.
Okay, so you
Yeah.
said take a zero, take my age and take a zero. Okay,
Yeah.
so I'm looking at almost $500 a month.
I know. Oh, hey, as I used to tell people, we're like cars. We become classics. So
Okay,
classics,
okay.
yeah. To own a classic, you want to pay a little bit more.
How and they are able to cover their family. They're able to get
Absolutely.
everything. And when you do it together. Are people in a group? Are they individualized? How is it when if I had a fleet? What if I had 5 trucks? Right.
Okay.
I am the owner of the 5 trucks. And
Hmm.
one of the challenges that I face is people don't want to come to work for me because they need the benefits, right? What can
Right.
I do as a owner of 5, 10, 15 trucks to be able
Hmm.
to offer something to my drivers and yet not put me out of business at the same time?
Right. What I normally tell owners such as yourself are looking to offer coverage, I said consult your CPA because I'm not a CPA, but you can offer in a stipend plan contributing to how much money you want. If you want to do $100, $200, $300, it's all up to you. You don't have to contribute, but when you contribute a certain amount towards their insurance, you can still write it off because it's a business expense. Um, a lot of small business owners do that because in a traditional group plan, they have to maintain 75% participation. If not, then they will be penalized. And then if a person decides to leave, they have to ownership have to deal with Cobra, and a lot of them really don't want to deal with that. So what make my plans unique, I build it as an individual and place it into a group. And it comes the payment would come directly out of the driver's personal checking account. So that way um, the only thing he have to do is just tell the payroll person, hey, to add $200 to Mike's check. That's go towards his insurance, and then from there, if Mike decide to leave, he just tell his payroll person, don't pay Mike the $200 anymore. And
Okay.
the great thing about if Mike does decide to leave, Mike get to keep his insurance and go to the next fleet company that is hiring. And his nothing haven't changed for the ownership. Is a lot easier that way per se. A lot of times, a lot of times I run into individuals who, you know, they may qualify, but their spouse may not. So I'll get with a broker who offer that spouse their the marketplace plan, and then. But here's the great thing: even though they're on the marketplace plan, they still get some of the benefits from their spouse and the rest of the family. So, like for instance, you get the teledoc. You could get a teledoc. It all depends on what states they're in. They can still get the teledoc. Um, they will get a certain amount of money, like a lost wage built in for being hospitalized. Um, and then what I'm trying to think of the mail order prescriptions, and sometimes even $10,000 accidental benefit built inside. So it's not that service right there is, I mean, we built that in all our plans, but again, certain states won't allow certain things. Like for instance, Nevada and Kansas come to mind, but other states does allow us to build those things into our plans. And you'll be amazed how many people are just blown away when they're able to receive a check if their spouse is in the hospital on another plan, and they call me. It's like, yeah, so and so was in the hospital. And I asked a magic question for how many days, and then I'll help them file the claim, and they receive the check, and there was like, wait a minute, you guys are paying me for being in the hospital? And I said, yeah, because someone's going to take some time off from work. So therefore, it's nice to know that you have a certain amount of dollars that once you get out of the hospital is there for you. So that just blow people away. And more importantly, that they get some of the benefits, even though they're not on their spouse's plan.
Right. How long
Mhm.
does it take after you get your quote and your insurance in place and everything like that? Is it it's like
Mhm.
30 days before it kicks in, or what is
Yeah, yeah, some states require, and it's not us, some states require a 30 days probation period, like for your accident or things, certain limitations kick in. But for the most part, most of the states, soon you get approved, your benefits is right then and there, up and going. Yeah.
and you
So,
also
but
said something about what's the difference between the HMO and the PPO? Is that two separate things that you offer, or what would it be for truck drivers that are driving from state to state? What kind of plan is that?
yeah, and that's the great that's the I feel is the greatness that I have, even though I'm a captive agent, meaning that I just work for one provider. With the HMO, and with the HMO, a lot of people will get bombarded next month on November 1st when open enrollment start. But the HMO is limited where you can go, even in your home state. Certain hospitals don't accept marketplace plans, believe it or not. Um, and then if you decide to, let's say, I'm trying to educate a lot of drivers. I always asked them, I said, so are you OTR? And they said, yeah. I said, do you have a PPO or HMO? And a lot of them don't know the difference. They just say Blue Cross. And I said, okay, so you have an HMO. So I said, so with that, if you leave your home state and something happened to you, then you're out of network. And in some cases, your deductible double or triple. And then, or they just say, we don't accept your plan here. And so now even now you're behind the eight ball. And with the PPO, you have a nationwide coverage, so you could go to any doctor, any hospital nationwide. Like for instance, the plan that I offer cover you on and off the job. I have a guy here in Texas. Um, I was talking to him for quite some time, and he's a handyman, and he was deciding, but he had a buddy of his who also a agent, but he was selling marketplace plans. But he gonna go with his friend. I said, I understand. I understand. You know him. You don't know anything about me. Well, that following year, I followed up. The next year, I called him up again just in case, and he was upset because he fell off the ladder. He braced himself and broke his wrist. Well, that was 2,000. That cost him $2,000 because he went to the hospital. He gave them his card. They asked him the claims questions. How did it happen? I was at work. I fell off the ladder. I was bracing myself. And then he got a letter from that company stating that due to the fact you were working, your claim is denied because it did not cover them on the job. And so I just told him, I said, not to add salt to the wound. I said, if you looked at the brochure that I emailed with your quote, it says on and off job coverage.
Okay,
So
so that's the difference with
yeah,
the PO, that
absolutely.
not only are you covered throughout the United States as you travel, but if
Hmm.
you're abroad and you get hurt, or even if you're at work and you get hurt, or something happens to you, you're going to be covered regardless, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. And the sad part uh, is a lot of people they just go on price. They don't. I mean, they just hear a name and just go on price. And it's like I would always tell people, especially the guys. I always tell them, I said, dude, you're 57 years old and you're paying 200 and some odd dollars a month. That is what I call buyer beware. And I said, don't let anything major happen to you because you get what you pay for. Because it's just like you're paying a little up front, but when something goes south, that back end going to cost you, and you're going to get jackknife, and it's just going to mess you up financially.
So, as a business owner, and I'm trying to
Hmm.
retain my drivers, right?
Hmm.
I can offer a insurance plan for them, and also make it a little bit easier on them,
Hmm.
um, when it comes to the premium, as far as maybe giving them an extra $100 in a check a week or something like
Yeah.
that to offset that cost. And then as
Right.
a business owner, I can write that expense off, and then I don't have to worry about Cobra at the end, where you have to cover your employee for the next couple of months, even though they're not
Right.
working for you, you know? So
Absolutely.
could be a excellent idea for fleet owners, especially people who do have a lot of drivers. That
Hmm.
okay, it will give you retention, because a lot of times it may not be with the pay with a driver.
Right.
The benefit is the most
Oh,
important.
absolutely.
As you say, a lot of us have been in the industry for 10, 15 years. People are getting older and things like that. So they rely on that coverage, and
Hmm.
especially to know that they can be covered anywhere that they go, you know,
Right.
48 states. That's very
Yeah.
important. So it's a win-win for not only the driver, but it's a win situation for the employer, the fleet owner as well, to offer it.
Absolutely. A-
And it could be
yeah.
2 employees, it can be 10 employees, but at
Right.
least we will have that extra safety, where there's a concern of a driver
Mhm.
not having insurance coverage, right?
Right. Yeah, because
Let's
you want to have that peace of mind. You want to have that peace of mind because what I do, I explain in detail about the plan, and I always ask him, ask the drivers, if you know the name of your home and auto person, and if you're fortunate, know the name of your financial planner, why don't you not know the name of your health coverage agent? Because chances are you're going to use that first. And I read a survey today was posted on one of the trucker sites. It says that um, the is a higher, was it the accident was more higher to 2020 than it was in since 1988 or something like that.
I
And
did
I
see
was
that.
like,
I think I read
yeah,
an article that says that we've had so far, that we've peaked the top as far as
yeah,
casualties and
yeah,
fatalities and all this kind of stuff in the transportation industry with
yeah,
drivers. So those people are either going to hospitals, or if they're not going to a hospital, then we're making funeral arrangements and things
right.
like. So, that costs, money as well. So just to make
Hmm.
sure that you're covered on all those bases, you know. And then as a driver that's been out on the road, you know, we don't like going to the doctor. I'm telling you right now, you know, I don't like and go see a doctor because I felt like for a long time, like if I go in there, they're gonna tell me
Oh yeah.
something, and then they're gonna make me want to come back next week, and then we're gonna get two more
Right.
on top of that, and then before you know it, I would need a pill for everything of the all day, every day. So
Absolutely.
yeah, and you know, sometimes we just don't want to know, you know, but a
No.
lot of us are really unhealthy out there, and that's why they
Sure.
are drivers are being found in their trucks, you know, because they wasn't on their
Right.
medication. Maybe it could have been something that they could have prevented only if they went to go see a doctor. So just to know, you know, a lot of times we don't take the time to pick up the phone and speak
Right.
to an insurance agent like yourself, you know.
Yeah.
And so it does help out a lot when we can have somebody that we can go to just to
Right.
have some kind of idea, you know, and
Hmm.
then also to be able to give the idea to the business owner, say, hey, let me try to help in any way that I can, you know,
Right.
especially all this PPE money that came around for businesses and things like
Right.
that. We've been really looking at how we can help, you know, make sure that these drivers are staying safe out here, you know. But the rule with the
Mhm.
COVID, if you did get the COVID-19 or whatever the case may be, you were supposed to be automatically covered. Your bills are supposed to be automatically paid. You shouldn't have a bill if you was diagnosed with COVID and things like that. But you know, people slipped through the cracks. You know, so people was getting bills, and people didn't know their rights, and you know, all that kind of stuff. So it's always
Mhm.
good to have a face with somebody that does something that you know you may need, right? Because it's
Right.
easier for
Absolutely.
me Googling insurance person on the internet. I already know, okay, Larry works with us in the trucking industry as far as when it comes to insurance. So if I got a question, I can ask him and, you know, go from there, right? Let's talk
Absolutely.
let's talk about life insurance. You know, we don't
Okay.
like to talk about life insurance.
Not many people do.
Yeah, but it is important. You know, I've
It is.
experienced two losses in a matter of 7 months, and that was a big blow for myself. So
Right.
when you're looking at insurance, you know, because we never know the time, day, whatever the case may be. When you're looking at insurance for your family or whatever the case may be, who who do you get insurance on? Who do you get life insurance on? Like I would just cover myself.
Yeah.
Should I cover my
Right.
mom? Should I, you know, are you
Yeah.
able to cover your mom? You know, because some of our mothers, like mine is 78 years old, right? And you know, she's old school. So she
Yeah.
believes in, you know, when they have the burial insurance and you know, even
Right.
in, you know, put money under the bed and all that kind of stuff and
Yep.
thinking that's gonna help her out, you know, when it's her time and things like that. And you
Sound
come
like
and
my
go
mom.
money and it's about $500, you know what I'm saying? So
Right.
how can we alleviate the financial burden
Mhm.
uh, if something happened to us? What are we looking at as far as that? Who can you cover? Is it just your immediate family, your spouse, your
Mhm.
kids, or can you cover your parent or something like that?
Yeah. On that subject matter, um, once if I sit down with a like a driver, for instance, I always ask, you know, who's a breadwinner winner, because sometimes they're a team, and so, you know, if there are a team, I say, okay, let's look for a certain amount just in case if something does happen, you can continue to drive, and more importantly, there's not a speed bump in a way. I mean, there's no interruption in your life besides that person is no longer in there. I said, so if your house is not paid off, because that's one of the things I run into. A lot of the drivers I talk to, they may say, I got $100,000. I said, okay, that's great. I said, but uh, Are you married? And they said, yeah. Is your house paid off? No. Is your truck paid off? No. So let's look at the scenario. So if you travel more than 75 miles away from your home and something happened to you, that's $10,000 to ship the bodies back.
Right.
And so I said, so now we're down $90,000. I said the average cost of funerals, about $25,000. They say, okay, now we're 35,000. Okay, your house is not paid off. Um, if you're the money, if you make the most in your family income, then that's detrimental for your spouse. So now you have debt. Your house is not paid off. You got debt, such as your truck, and everything else will belong to your company because you're going to have fuel costs and all that other stuff that haven't been paid and everything, and everybody want their money. Now you have to sell your house and all your equipment, trying to sell your truck, just trying to get something out of it. And then now you put that stress back on that person you're married with. So I said, so let's alleviate that. How much you have left to pay on your home, and we do a needs and analysis, and it come to a conclusion, that okay, you need $500,000 to $1 million
I need
policy.
$1 million, Larry. I need a million. If something happens, it's gonna take about 2 million for them to come.
But a lot of times, I mean, a lot of time, I sit down with the person. I said, you know what? If they're around our age, I just like, look, a whole life, universal life, going to cost you an arm and a leg. So let's look at a term life, or I said there's so many form of term life. So let's look at a term life. I said my biggest thing, I always say, please don't tell me one of you guys use tobacco products, and a lot of them use, like, no. So I said, here's the reason why, and I show them the difference in tobacco products user versus non-tobacco users, and they are just blown away the difference in monthly premiums. And so I said, if you are using, don't use it. I mean, and I said, I know what you're thinking. I'm gonna get off of it for a month, maybe 3 months, and then you're gonna slap that patch on and you're gonna start smoking. I said,
Yeah.
here's what's going to happen. So if if you're off, haven't been smoking, and this has happened to someone, and we don't know if they're a smoker or a tobacco user or not. But when they send out someone to do the blood tests and height and weight, that determine your monthly premium, because whatever you tell me I put down, well, until it's the medical team come out and do your blood work, that's fine. But I have had people, conceal information like that, and then all of a sudden they call and say, "Are you nuts? You want me to pay 300 and some odd dollars per month?" I said, no disrespect. You said you didn't use any tobacco product. In your blood, the DA in your blood shows you use tobacco product. Oh, that's bull. Da 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 da. I said, that's your blood. It's not. That's you. That's your DNA. It won't lie. So, and he said, well, that's ridiculous. I'm going to pay a little bit more because I use tobacco products. It's a risk.
Right.
I mean, it could lead to cancer. I mean, you're setting yourself up. You didn't come out of the womb smoking a cigarette. That's something that you chose to do. So we're trying to protect our assets we want to protect you, but at the same time, we got to protect ourselves. So if you want to use tobacco product, by all means, go. But however, you're going to pay for it. And so you're talking. Go ahead.
What about like a situation that I came across with my niece, right?
Uh-huh.
She had health. I mean, she had life insurance,
Mhm.
right? Because the
Okay.
job gave her life insurance, or she took out
Right.
life insurance at when she signed up to work. So she had it, right? So that was not a
Right.
concern. But the issue that we ran into is
Mhm.
the life insurance was supposed to, help take care of the funeral expenses.
Right.
She had a car, the kids need to be taken care of while they're growing up and things like that. But because we think as parents, we're doing
Mhm.
a great thing as in leaving the money or whatever the case may be to our kids, we're
Mhm.
not able, the people that have to take care of the kids or the people that
Right.
have to pay the car off or
Right.
if they want to raising them up, when you have small kids, is
Right.
an expense. Also with there was a whole lot of different things that held me as a next of kin or whatever the case may be back,
Mhm.
because the money had to go to the kids. So
Right.
with that being said, you can't touch anything. You have to wait until they get older.
Right.
Is there a recommendation, or do y'all have any say? Or I mean, it's up to that person or whatever the case may be.
Mhm.
If you're trying to prepare or make sure that you're not leaving people with a burden to, pay
Right.
$25,000 for a funeral,
Right.
um, what can you do in that sense? Should you break it up? Should you, what
Yeah.
can you do to make sure that you're not putting that extra burden on somebody else, but you
Right.
still did the right thing as far as getting the insurance, you still did
Mhm.
that. But as far as the need of taking care of things right now, nothing can be done.
Right.
So how do you do that? Do you break it up? What do you do?
Mhm.
Especially when there's young
You can,
kids involved.
right. That's where the needs and analysis come from, and there are plans set up in place where um, if the parents, you know, let's say they have $1 million policy, and whoever the breadwinner, the $1 million go to them. If and then in some scenario, if both of the parents is deceased, the $1 million go to the children, be divided among the children at an equal amount. Um, we always ask, okay, what's a good legal age? You want it at 21? You want it at 18? What do you want? And a lot of them always say 21 because let's say you get an 18-year-old, six figures, it's it's gone.
It's
It's
gone.
gone. So
It's gone.
yeah, yeah.
It took me
And
six
so
months
20,
for my dad's. It took me
yeah,
6 months.
yeah,
I couldn't wait to get 18. He said 18.
yeah,
I was running down to the courthouse. Collect my check.
yeah. I mean, your graduation present is a six-figure income. I'm not going to college. So 21, you're 21, 22, you graduate from college. But knowing that you have that leg up is huge. You can have it set up whereas the beneficiary, whoever is going to be the beneficiary to provide for the children, they are given a certain allowance per month to help them out, and that's when you. I always tell everyone to contact a legal shield person, and they have those plans set up. And a it's one of those things where, like I said before, it's a peace of mind knowing that okay, if something happened to me, you know, I know um, my brother or my sister is the beneficiary, and they're going to take care of them,
The kids,
or a
yeah.
cousin, or yeah, and it's a peace of mind, and everyone in the room know it. Family know it. Family might not like it if a non-family member is taking care of the kids. Sometimes that's the best situation for your child.
But
They might
we also have to also have these conversations too,
yeah,
because when you're not here anymore, we can't talk about it. So making sure
exactly,
that you have your plan in place, making sure
yeah,
that everybody knows what's going on. God forbid, I mean, you may be here for another 50, 60 years, but with
right.
all the COVID and everything going
Oh
on,
yeah,
people are just dropping like in a matter
Yeah.
of days, and
Yeah.
you really don't have a time to make the arrangements. You don't have a time to do this. You don't have a time. And
Right.
then you think that you had the right plan in place for the kids, which, she did. She put an insurance plan and in effect, to
Mhm.
help out the kids. But it's just going to sit there. I don't want to fight it. It's going to be for them when they
Right.
don't like, okay, it's enough to, maybe whatever the case may be. So let them
Mhm.
just grow up and then they could do whatever. But those
Right.
are things that you need to those are things that you need to talk about. Those are things that you need to have a plan for written down so there's no confusion. At the end of the day, if something happens to you, everything is
Right.
fine, and we move on and live and things like that. So that is
Yeah.
one of the things we kind of like stay away from, especially in our community. We
Right.
don't like to talk about stuff like that, but it is a
Yeah.
conversation that needs to be had at the table sometime. you know
Yeah.
what about
Yeah. I got.
parents? What about
Yeah.
parents? Are you
Parent.
able to cover your parent, or do they have to do the
You could
coverage?
be.
Or you pay for it, or what is that?
I mean, you could pay for your. You could pay for your parents' coverage. That's not an issue. It's just trying to find a plan that
Will cover
you
them at
know.
the age that they may
Yeah.
be.
Yeah. Especially if they don't have a pre-existing condition. But one thing I will tell people is, with the life insurance, I always stress to a lot of the drivers, get a uh, uh, now I'm going blank, not a living benefit, but a
Living
I can't
will,
think of the term. No,
very
it's
directive.
I can't think of the term right now. It's one of those things taking the burden away. If one of the drivers are terribly injured in a car wreck and can no longer work, paralyzed from the neck down, um, there's a
A power of
policy
attorney,
that
is that what it is? A variance
no,
directive, a
it's
power.
I can't think of it. I'm embarrassed. I can't think of the term, and I always tell people about it. But it's a plan. Whereas if they are half assistant living, like assistant benefit, it's like if they have to be in assistant living, 24-hour care. That is huge. A living benefits work the same way, but you also have I can't think of the term, but it works the same way because if you need around the clock nursing, you're talking about $6,000 a month, between $6,000 to $10,000 a month. That insurance policy absorb all of that. But
Okay.
I will tell everyone this: it's nice. You need to have a agent at hand that will work with you because I I educate my clients how to use insurance and how to use life insurance. The back to the health insurance, I tell them if you go to the emergency room and you drop down your card, they have 23 hours to admit you into the hospital. Now, if you're paying cash, they're going to get to your pain points real quick. And I tell them, I tell my clients, now if they're telling you, hey, we need to admit you, but we need to move you to another hospital because you don't have health insurance, you drop your card. Because the one reason I tell them to do that is because I hate to say it, but they gouge people. They gouge people, and they deny it, but they do gouge people. Um, I find it ironic. A MRI will run an individual cash between 350 to 425, but when you put your insurance card, is 16 to 2200.
Right.
Just saying. So you need that agent to work with you, just like you need an agent, you know, on the life insurance side to work and find a plan that is going to work for you. If something does go south, you already know to call Larry. Larry have that plan. I mean, Larry have a copy of that plan, and he could contact corporate office, and they'll send it to you. Or if you're local, they may have a local agent wherever you are. They may have a local agent there to present that plan to you. So either way, you want to know your agent at hand because like I stressed before, if you know the name of your home and auto person, and if you're blessed to have a financial planner, you need to know your health coverage agent because there's a chance you're going to use that one first before you use the first two. So
Right.
just saying. I
Well,
mean,
I am so glad that we had this
yeah,
conversation. It was a long time coming, and I think
yes,
it really
ma'am.
opened up the eyes of a lot of people to really start taking their insurance benefits seriously, health,
Yeah.
dental, and vision. And not only that, just to have the conversation,
Oh yeah.
maybe it is for you, maybe it's not for you, but it doesn't cost you anything to find out, right?
No, it doesn't cost anything.
Where are you?
not a
Just
not a
let me,
one
you are
dime.
in Texas, right? Are you out of Texas?
Yes, I'm out of the Fort Worth area.
And you covered what? Most of the 48 or almost the 48? So anybody can
I
call you.
covered. I covered. Well, I'll tell you the states I'm not in. I'm not in. I'm not in the. I'm not in California. Any of the West Coast, California, Oregon, Washington, Alaska. I don't know why I'm not in Idaho, but we're not in Idaho. Both of the uh, yeah, yeah, both of the Dakota states, and what else? Dakota, Minnesota, and then anything north of Delaware, like New York, New Jersey on up. I'm not in those states.
Trivia question. What is the highest
Yeah,
state insurance that you find out the states that you do cover? What is the
Illinois,
highest, right?
Illinois,
Illinois,
Illinois, Illinois. Illinois is
really?
one of the four states for the trucker hubs, and Illinois, yeah, that's
That's
yeah,
where they get you at.
yep,
If you live in
that's yep,
Illinois. Okay.
yep.
What's the
Compared to
least?
anyone else, the least Utah. Utah it's a battle between Utah, Mississippi, and Maryland. Those they run neck to neck, man. They're tight.
Y'all come
Yeah.
on down to Mississippi. We get you some coverage, some life insurance.
Yeah.
Y'all can use my address, okay? But
There you go. But here's the
wanna
thing. I,
go
I
ahead.
will I will tell you this. If you get your if you let's say since I'm in Texas and I get my plan here in Texas, if I move to Illinois, um, my plan won't change, but my
Okay.
rate may increase a little bit, but my plan won't change. And that's huge right there. Because normally, if with a HMO plan, if you leave your home state, you have to reapply in the state you now new reside in, which is ridiculous. But
Okay.
each is their own. Yeah.
Well, we are coming to the end of our
Okay.
segment. We are at 48 minutes. Like I said, I want to thank you so much for having this
Yes, ma'am.
conversation with me. I wanted to put a face with a name, because we've all seen you at the truck shows in
Yep.
Louisville and in
Yep.
Dallas. And that's where I met you, at the truck show. So
Yeah.
we really want to make sure that we have a go-to person that if we have any questions about health, dental, vision, life insurance, that we are able to reach out to somebody that focuses on us as a driver,
Yeah.
as a truck driver. So I'm glad that we have that relationship, that we can network with you and call you. What you say, 24/7? Did you tell us to call you 24?
24/7. Yeah. 24/7. Yeah. I'm self-employed like everybody else. So when that
I know
phone
that's for
rings,
real. I know that's for real.
boom.
When that phone
That's
rings,
my load board, man. That's my load board. When you guys call, hey, all right.
that's right. I answer that phone 24/7. But
Yeah.
just to have the insurance, either talk about it or, have a plan in place to,
Right.
have something in place for life insurance. Don't smoke,
Yeah, I know.
could kill your coverage. And it was just a pleasure and a joy. And I thank you so much for taking the time out just to spend time to even enlighten all of us as drivers out here on the highway. I did put your
Yeah.
information in the description box. And y'all can also look
Okay.
on my page. I also put it on YouTube and things like that. Larry can
Okay.
be
Thank
reached
you.
at 972-217-0987. He has an email address, high hope
It's
operation.
HIH operation.
Okay, HIA operation. Okay, at
Yeah.
gmail.com. He's on Facebook as a health insurance helper. He also has an Instagram. Now you know you done blown up when you get an Instagram. Man, what you know about Instagram?
Oh,
Instagram, Twitter. He's also my friend on LinkedIn as well.
yeah.
And you can find him basically anywhere. So, guys, if you need somebody that you want to or need to talk to about health insurance and you have a concern about getting the health insurance, he has a small little survey that you can fill out, a little form on his website that you can fill out. And then he will contact you and come up with a plan or whatever it is that you're trying to do. Okay. So don't be afraid to reach out and ask him questions and things like that. So, guys, we're getting ready to go. We're at 51 minutes. Anything that you wanted to say before we get out of here?
Yeah, you don't have to wait until November 1st to open enrollment to contact me. My open enrollment is all year round. And last but not least, do not put your information on those websites. You will have about 15 people calling you within 5 minutes for open enrollment. That's all I got to say.
All right. Well, thank you guys. Thank y'all so much for joining us tonight. Tomorrow we will come back with something else. There you have it. And you all have a wonderful and blessed night. Bye.